Now I get to talk with Randall about process validation. It's super important. However, if you didn't watch that first video that we did together with the automation side of things, bringing in Datanomix, bringing in ProShop ERP, incorporating that to the over $2 million worth of investment in automation they've made over the last couple years, go back and watch that one. Before you, actually you can watch in whatever order you want, but you should check out that video. Randall, we're now into a different segment, which is kind of the segue that we made from the last video, but also in real life, it was the segue you made from the initial investment in Datanomix, understanding what it was able to do for you, and then going, you know what? I think we can do more. Let's try that out as it continues to grow within the shop here at Ricaurte Precision. Would you mind sharing the details of that?
Exactly right. So coming from the pallet system, the 5-axis automation, then we saw how useful all that data was. It was like, why can't we use that on our standard 3-axis, 3+2s, any of our lathes? So we started scratching our heads, let's put these units to the test and see what we can get out of it. So here is our after action report. And all this really is a history of how well you did. It's your report card, right? So we go into one of our machines here and you look at, see the month, and okay, we were only getting 2 parts a day, process validation of running the machine. And then we get up to 6 to 10 and you start to see what your utilization is. Pretty decent numbers here. You can see the graph going up. You always want to see them trending up instead of going the other way. We don't like that. But if something happens, this gives us exact validation of where we went wrong or what we did, and we can highlight those areas so we can try to combat that in the future. So then we just started applying it to these machines. So we would go back and look at any particular day where we were getting 12 part count, and we say, okay, we were running really great. Our utilization is 103. This looks awesome. We only had a little bit of downtime, and again, we highlight over their system, waiting for an operator. Maybe a tool broke, maybe it's an e-stop for whatever reason, but pretty good utilization. I'm not gonna cry over 103%.
No, 130% is pretty good.
Pretty good.
You guys dominate the green section all the time, don't you?
Yeah. My job depends on it.
No mistakes here.
Well,
hey, wait a second.
Next screen.
Well, we have a little less green.
A little less green. So again, the insight that it gives us to what was going on and being able to highlight and see, there it is right there, the broken tool. Okay, do we have tool redundancy? Why did it break the tool? Was the tool just wearing out? This particular day we were running some harder titanium, tool wear, whatever it was. So we can go back and see what happened and why. The other great thing that this does is when we look at what our utilization and our runtime, our cycle times were, it's giving you, again, your actual, what was happening versus what was your best and the capacity of that. So we can take that back into ProShop where we're highlighting this is what our setup time theoretically is going to be based off our quote and our cycle times. Are we within that range? Were we completely off? Are we making money?
That is, I know I say this word a lot. I know sometimes my mind gets blown maybe easier than your mind when I'm learning about the technology and how every company incorporates it into their facility. But this relationship that I'm seeing, and we have paperless parts here, we got ProShop here, we got Datanomix here. When we talk about process validation, I again go back into my head, Randall, and I think about what I did as a machinist, trying to incorporate all of this knowledge and then pass that knowledge around the shop into the ownership. The amount of time it used to take for that trickle-down effect to get all of that information back into the shop and going again, this seems like it's almost instantaneous. It's almost, we're looking at it live, we can go right back to it and look at it, and it's not on-off like we've said before. When we're looking at Datanomix. It's not green and red or green and yellow from on-off. It tells us why. Okay, it's a broken tool. Let's look into machine redundancy next time we run this job or something similar. Would you mind sharing a bit more of the details on the ProShop side of things? I understand this Datanomix side really well, but bringing in ProShop, working together, what has that done on the process validation side of things? So
for that, it's again, they work so well together, and I like to say that this erases tribal knowledge, which is death.
Yes,
right? So to your point, it's real time. And you can go back and travel on it, but going back in, so we know, okay, setup time, Well, if it's labeled in setup and we projected it's going to be a 4-hour setup, oh, this took us 8 hours. What are we doing wrong on the front side so we can fix that and be more profitable and be more intelligent and get better quotes to the customer, so we're getting parts on time, within budget, and the whole ecosystem works together. So it's so great that ProShop maps it out for you with what you think you're going to do. But what usually happens? Oh, the tool broke. We ran into a problem. Our outside processing vendor was late. But then we can look at all that and go back. It's all digitally there, and it closes that loop up. So it's so easy to do and figure out your cost accounting for how did we do? Because running blind, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, and when I think about how we used to quote, and maybe you did this before, you already mentioned my job depends on it, so you're probably really happy that you have this information.
Yeah.
Prior to 2 years ago, when you weren't able to utilize this just yet, and learning through all this, I think, well, I used to quote, but then I would add 30% just in case. I would add 40% just in case. Well, this is a harder material, or something's gonna go wrong, or whatever it might be. I used to know what I thought I know, but I didn't really know the truth, and I would just tack on an extra percentage. We really, truly get to know what's going on inside of our machines, inside of our shop. Whenever we talk to, and I think this is almost, and we've used the word really and invaluable a ton if you've watched both of these videos, by the way, but when we work with the clients that we're making parts for, not only is it good for our internal selves, but who we work with, they probably love to see what we're working on internally, and that we're quoting them in a respectful manner as well. I can only imagine that they get to go, oh, thank you. I understand where your costs are. I understand why you're charging me this. It becomes a relationship that's very important.
Exactly. So, and it just shows well, and you pass that sniff test, right? Which is so valuable, because you can try to sell them until the cows come home. But the reality is, here it is. You can track on ProShop, here's where your parts are exactly within the minute, and then here's the backup. This is the why. And it's so valuable to just be able to gift that to them and say, this is what we're doing, guys. Here's reality.
Yeah, reality is sometimes tough to swallow. Sometimes I don't pass a sniff test. Today I think we're doing all right.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
The quality of the technology here at Ricaurte Precision, so very important. The parts that you're making, I mean, again, we're talking microns, we're talking tenths. There can be mistakes. The knowledge that you're receiving by combining your investments in automation, then applying that not just to the milling centers that are behind us right now, but also to the turning centers that are over across the room. You have adapted, and it's continuing to grow. You started in automation, now you're going to process management. You're understanding all of that. This is how we succeed. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. And it's that there where it's real. It's not theoretical anymore. Well, you know, we've seen other, machine tracking systems, and they're tracking just a spindle spinning. It could be cutting air. It's reality. It's actual pressured cut time based off what you thought you were going to do, and then you can adjust it on the fly because they work so well together, because it's pulling the data from it. So if you are off track and you correct yourself, it puts you right back on track for what you were going to do.
I love it. And Randall, for just so you guys know, I talked to him off camera. He was actually a professional snowboarder who never wanted to be on camera. But look how good he's done today. Far better than I've done. This is Ricaurte Precision. Give them a look, give them a chance. They're gonna go out of their way to make sure you're taken care of. And with information like this, you know you're gonna receive the reality of what's going into your investment and your partnership as well. Randall, maybe we'll snowboard together one day, maybe not, but we certainly got on camera together. And you are dominating the camera currently.
Thank you. Appreciate it, dude.